Wait,
Shoots
is
bunch
this
of
a
stuff up.
Theola Core Elder Titan? Like, I know that they might be running it as a 5, but like, yo, big ups to Theola Core Elder Titan. Because like when I first started casting SA, this guy, I think he was he on SG at the time? I think it was on Midas actually back then. But he does work with this hero. Like his positioning is so good.
Actually, SG has two of the best Brazilian Elder Titan players, because King Jungles used to also be one of his solid picks. In fact, if you guys remember, back when King Jungles was starting, like playing in more top tier teams, one of the issues people used to criticize is the guy can only play heroes that win the lane. He used to play the NP5, used to play the Eng 5, the Elder Titan 5. He's there to like bash you in the lane, do nothing in the mid game, but it's fine because he got the lane for the carry. That was his style. It was a very big upside for King Jungles, and over time he did develop that diversity a bit more. So it could be either. I agree. I'm glad you pointed that out because I was about to say that Theolicot also a really, really good Elder Titan player. Let's see. They might just flex it with any hero.
Yeah,
that's a good
very
point.
good to have.
I like it in both ways, right? Because Spectre's pressurable in a lane as a carry. Abaddon normally is going to like offset dispels and stuff like that, but you can't offset the giant metal hand to the face as much because it's just going to be an overwhelming amount of damage. Plus, reducing Spectre's base resistances down is going to help effectively cut through her survivability. So definitely could go both ways. But yeah, it's probably going to be a 5. Obviously, you could put Doom mid, but that's 3 cores now. So yeah, Elder Titan very likely going to be the 5 here. And Doom as a 3. He's basically semi-unpressurable here, but by Spectre Abaddon. So he's going to have a really good time. That's going to leave SG the availability to do like a roamer for if they really want to, because Doom should be semi-survivable however he wants to be. I like the SG draft right now. It feels pretty good.
Yeah, I like this Doom pick a lot. It's you deny a couple of the picks on EgoBoys pretty hard. I mean, at one point you either get the Ags or Spectre's not really that concerned about the Doom, but the Timbersaw is very much concerned, and it kind of it also conditions this last pick. I really like when teams do this, where they pick up a hero that put some pressure on this last pick, and all of a sudden EgoBoys has to throw a bunch of picks out the window because like it no longer works as well, and it puts a lot of pressure on the drafter to make a good decision here. So you have to think about this pick while you're also banning, and usually these bans are to protect the pick as well. So it's even more ideas behind it. Let's see if it works out. They banned the Invoker and the Bat Rider for EgoBoys. The Invoker is particularly the hero alone is known for the most. Could we see maybe one of the spirits, or does the Doom deter that too much?
I think it deters it quite a bit.
There aren't any like super obvious Doom targets right now. Timbersaw would be okay. Dooming Spectre before he daggers is always excellent because then he just does not feel good. So I guess a spirit hero would be okay. They really have like almost no pressure on the EgoBoy side in terms of like getting kills. Abaddon's defensive Dark Willow can do some stuff, but outside of the fact that like Timber is going to be aggressive all the time and push in lanes, and they're going to play around him, I assume EgoBoy is just going to go more into teamfight then. That way, like they'll have Timber to be aggressive, Abba will cover one other core, and then they'll just wait for like the right teamfight initiations and try to counteract like ET and Doom and stuff like that. That's kind of what it seems like.
Okay.
So I assume SG will get like some utility 4, some disabler, something that can follow up on Dragonite. Yeah.
Yeah, something with a roam, potential being able to, because like that's one thing that Theolicor does really, really well too, is he bounces back and forth from the reins. And yeah, you know what? Go back to the Marana. I'm surprised that it wasn't banned. So anime draft again here for the side of SG. Protect your couriers.
I'm slightly surprised they drafted it because there's an Abba on the other side, but you've got Dragonite Marana, but they've got Abaddon. It's fine. It still kind of does what they want to do. So hey.
And now EgoBoys needs to respond to this. They wanted something that can net you some kills, something that can bring some pressure for EgoBoys, some options that we could be seeing here for alone. I mean, picks that stand out for him. Ember Storm, Kunkka, for example, all bring some pressure. He was known for his puck a while ago, but a lot of these picks do suffer against the Doom. Maybe Kunkka aside. That's necessarily the best Kunkka draft, though.
Yeah, I worry about a Kunkka because I think they're going to be lacking some damage and like tower potential. Yeah. Like hit until the Spectre gets big enough, and like that's always scary when you're waiting on a specific like really long scale timing too, in my opinion, especially with the way SG just played.
They have single target damage issues on EgoBoys. Like Abba doesn't offer much damage. They've got Bedlam. Yeah, Storm is good here. Like you can get doomed and you can get like Dragonite Stun Marana arrowed, but yeah, they needed something that could like semi carry, initiate, do enough single target damage, dive. Storm kind of covers all those bases.
Seeing these final picks First, Moxxi. What team are you siding with this time? Last time we went for SG. You're completely right. Let's see.
Wow.
I tend to be completely right when I'm paired up, Purge over there say no. I have faith in SG. I've been seeing the way that they've been playing the last day or so. It feels like they have a good grasp of what they want to do. EgoBoys also, knowing a little bit about the team, the personalities, I think they're gonna have a little bit of a mental hurdle to go over as they get into this game after everything that happened previously. So I'm gonna go with the SG.
Oh, you Purge.
I like the SG draft better, but EgoBoys, it is a little bit difficult to team fight into them if they don't get the perfect grab initiations. Like, you can terrorize to make them run away, you can shield off stuns, but in the same vein, I feel like SG is going to be able to get more done on the map, especially once DK gets Blink. It just kind of feels like if they play perfectly, they can weather the storm, but I just feel like SG is going to outplay them and get too many pickoffs in fights and on the map. But if they go late, Luna's worse.
We have a pretty Brazilian panel, but I like the options for EgoBoys. It seemed like they might have a chance, particularly as you said, if they go late. We'll see if they're capable of taking this game long enough, as official game number 2 is going to be underway between EgoBoys and SG Esports. Once again, take it away, my wonderful casting pair.
Wow, what a nice setup there from Avo Plus over there. My
wonderful.
Goodness. You are a delight. But
So
yeah, it's
this
funny,
one-
right? We went through a whole DPC where we were kind of just saying, especially over in the EU, Western EU rather, and the Eastern EU, where we're just like, man, Luna looks terrible, and now we're like, man, Luna's looking pretty good here. They figured it out. So what can we expect this game?
She does decent. Like, a lot of pro players will like look at a hero like Luna and they'll be like, well, she is a lane solution and she farms fast and she offers some other stuff. And yeah, she has issues sometimes, but like, if they're concerned about winning the safe lane, then it's justified picking her, because they're against a freaking Timber Saw. Timber is like first round banned by a lot of teams. They don't want to pick some like hard carry that's going to be ultra pressured by Timber, because then they just don't feel good about the game state. They want to make sure that they could potentially beat the Timber in lane, that they don't have to always keep 2 supports there all the time. That also helps their team transition, and they've got a really nice mix of late game carry potential between Doom and Dragon Knight mid and Luna. So I like what they're going for. It's kind of cool. If they get stomped in the lanes, it's gonna be a bad time, and if Luna gets behind in net worth, it'll be bad. But I mean, EgoBoys doesn't have that much grab outside of like Storm Spirit and Haunt. I guess that's one good thing going for them. When EgoBoys does start the fight, the Haunt plus Storm combo is really good. Gives vision of all the supports. Storm can jump on Mirana to kill him first, or Elder Titan to kill him first, and then they can pick and choose the rest of the engagement carefully. But there's counter initiation by Dragon Knight and Doom, so it won't necessarily be one-sided.
I really enjoy watching just the one-sided games. Always feels like, we're
So
sitting there just saying, how are they going to bounce back? How did they do this? And we have to try really hard to be like, well, maybe they could do this, and this, even though everybody else in Twitch chat is just like, dude, this is so over. It's definitely a lot more fun to be able to see both of these teams, duking it out, having us on the edge of our seat, trying to figure out who's going to win.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely, it's a lot more fun. I just feel like Elder Titan's gonna have a good laning stage here against Spectre +1, the Spectre Abaddon. And Abaddon again does have good base damage. He's got okay armor, 3.0 here with the Iron Branch, and really good movement speed. But ET just does this stuff a little bit better once he abuses his Astral Spirit timings.
I think you brought up a really good point too in the draft, talking about, the Abaddon will want to be able to go and just, purge off any sort of stuns, but with an Elder Titan, he's just going to, consistently just be running and punching. And I think that's
the stuns
very,
will help
very
a lot
value,
mid game.
but
Yeah, so the stun removal is really good in like the skirmish part of the mid game where there's like ganks coming and team fight stuff. But laning stage wise, if ET just has regen, he should be able to outtrade Abaddon. Block 110 damage, deal 110 damage, but it's a little bit of nuance.
I'm pretty sure Theolacor is gonna be the one in the bottom lane though, if I had to guess, along with Pavel. I think KJ will be up top supporting with Luna. But a little bit of an invasion. Gonna force out the leap here from Theolacor. That's not necessarily what you want to pick up as Mirana. Not the end of the world, but it would have been nice to have the arrow here as the punches start here over onto Rises. And again, it's a decent amount of damage.
80 damage punches here. Bonus, that is. Not bad. Oh, and he leaps. The leap has value. He gets an extra bounty rune as a result. He's not using that shit for anything else. So
Might as
sniping
well.
couriers is the best thing he can do right now. I mean, he doesn't feed first blood, but look at this incredible harassment coming out. Just gonna stand here and legit try to snipe couriers. It's like no bottle for you.
Yeah, you know, you say that, and it's probably definitely going to be Theolacor keeping an eye out on all the couriers, as said. And the harass begins here. Top lane kill already taking a lot, but KJ also has to be a bit careful here. Just try to sidestep around, making sure that Constabile can hit the creeps.
Dark Willow just has so much extra attack speed here. It really helps him fight in these early laning stage levels. Helps offset a little bit of what Elder Titan brings to the table. And when Drakeel hits level 2, get a little bit more armor as well. But for now, just going to get last hits with Timber Chain. And then Elder Titan runs back in. They're going to have to run away for a bit or fight them together.
And the harass is real over here, though, on Drakeel. In fact, KJ's just running him down. One more punch. No, he's going to be able to go use the Timber Chain thanks to that Fairy Fire. But that was sitting a little close, I think, over for Drakeel.
It was, yeah. But I get some closer to 2. It will be fine, probably. Back on the other side of the map, Spectre. Last hitting against a Mirana and a Doom. Mirana with the boots advantage is still going to be faster than Abaddon, which is makes things okay. They're not going to be able to secure as many range creeps, though.
I think Tano's dead here. Yep,
Yeah.
that is, of course, First Blood. The combination of Lucent Beam plus the Elder Titan just punching with that Astral Spirit bonus damage is just very, very strong, and it's going to be very difficult until they manage to go and pick up a point in that Shadow Realm, perhaps.
It is a little bit rough there behind on levels there, yeah. But good fighting so far. Another Bramble Maze do a little damage, but just zones them away from the creeps for a bit. Back in the mid lane, 11-5 for Storm Spirit Dragonite. 6-2 actually. I did see Dragonite miss a couple last hits in the first wave, but looks like it's been not simple for him. I mean, Storm's always, as a melee hero, it's not fun to lane against Storm because he gets a lot more remnant damage off, so you have to play a little bit careful, but if you buy enough strength items, Dragonite can be pretty competitive in last hitting, especially in the right hands. Another fight top. Timber getting really low as he escapes with the Timber Chain.
Needs another punch, and that's going to be just enough to take down Drakeel. Tano's just trying to get some right-click damage off over here on Constabile, who is sitting very low on regen at this point. Has himself a Fairy Fire and a stick. My question to you is EgoBoys, will they rotate someone over here to this mid lane? Because I feel like if Alone hits level 6, tries to go ganking, we're just going to see 40R pop that dragon form and continue to, like, push the tower.
Yeah, he will, but a lot of times Storm Spirit doesn't gank that often unless like he has a power rune or unless there's like an obvious opportunity. Usually Storms leave the lane to jungle, so in some ways Dragonite can be effective there by pressuring the tower a bit earlier. Especially with their lineup, like once they get a little bit of pressure in, once the towers are dead, Dragonite gets a Blink Dagger, then yeah, not having those buildings is going to hurt a little bit more.
Yeah, and also just taking a look at the draft, too, it feels like who are they going to have to rotate over to that mid lane that can, you know, gank a DK as well. It's not like they have the best burst damage. Maybe the Dark Willow, perhaps, because obviously a Timber can stay alone in this lane, but it'll be pretty tricky.
Little engagement top with Elder Titan using his thing, but on bottom, Kara trading out with Tavo as well. So both sides just fighting a lot here. He's got 2 points in arrow. Doesn't want to go for it.
Just have to be careful. He's sitting a bit low here in this top lane. Doesn't have any regen either. Oh, the Timber Chain from Drakeel. Right underneath the tower. Very nicely done. There's nothing that KJ can really do to stop that. In fact, needs to be a bit careful. He wants his kill on Tano, though. It's a nice Shadow Realm. Buys him enough time, but the stomp comes out. He's waiting patiently. Bam! And it's going to be Drakeel who gets himself a double kill, but first KJ will get the kill on the Willow.
I thought maybe it was going to go perfect for him. That Shadow Realm would end, and he gets the punch in without taking damage, but Shadow Realm, the Echo Stomp didn't quite last long enough here. Either way, good lane so far for the Timbersaw, 2-1. Luna's going to be upset about the death, of course, but hey, that's what happens when you stand near trees.
Ooh. Rises that arrow from Theolacor. It's going to be enough, I think. I think they're going to be able to get this kill over on the Spectre.
Got him. Wow. That's big.
Yeah.
overestimated his abilities. Spectres don't die too much in the laning stage these days. They just get zoned, but that one's gonna hurt.
I mean, both of these teams are mega aggressive right now. Top lane, we've been seeing them duking it out, and then the bottom lane, of course. I thought also Kara was sitting very low, but he's just gonna go deny himself here to the neutral creep, come back with full mana, full health, and a free TP.
Very embarrassing death. Dies to a small camp.
It's fine. It's all part of the plan. Another Bramble Maze tossed out here by Tana's got the Shadow Realm. Stabile's just gonna back off, continue to farm. Uses the Curse Crown over onto KJ.
Pretty effective, actually.
Stabile waiting over at the side here. Just continues to hit these creeps. KJ, there's not a whole heck of a lot that they can do because Drakil could definitely just go for the dive here. Yeah, he's looking. He's waiting for that Timber Chain. Oh, no, not it over KJ as he's juking around here quite a bit.
Much mana.
Yeah, and comes the storm, though. They have their eyes on Luna. They have bigger fish to fry, so they'll be able to get a kill on Stabile, even though KJ has managed to make it out alive.
All right, nice rotation. Mirana gets the courier snipe on the dire side, and they move Kara to the mid lane just in time. He's trying to slow down this push here, but Kara taking damage. They arrow me,
Second that you rotate out of your lane here when you're against a DK, he's going to put pressure on your tower. Teleports are coming out, though. Yeah, nice arrow over onto Alone. The hop forward. Nice shield being placed over him. So Theolacourt is going to fall here. 40R should be able to teleport away, but that is quite a few people over here in this mid lane.
He was very confident there to go get chain stun. He knew he had a lot of HP.
KJ?
The slaps?
There's like, there's not enough mana over here. I think he kills him. No?
Oh.
Yes?
Oh,
yeah, the tip coming out from King Jungle's here as he gets the kill on Alone. He's taking him to school.
What a sick play. I was scared he wasn't going to get it. It was going to feel really bad after what just happened, but punches him just enough. Beats him down in the mid lane, not enough mana for the storm, and now the tower gets pressured as well, just with some simple right clicks that forces Kara to go back to the mid lane to try to delay this instead of going back to the safe lane to help out his Spectre. Speaking of which, Doom is level 6.
They need to be careful to zip in, though. Teleport over to the mid lane. They want to try to punish 40R here for lingering, but the teleports are coming out immediately. They have to be a bit careful here. Theolacourt waiting. Beautiful stop from KJ. The arrow into Kara. Kara is absolutely dead, as Alone is now forced away. And, you know, we talked about this during the draft. Theolacourt and King Jungle's probably two of the best Elder Titan players in South America.
He's owning. He's doing so good this game so far. Still surprised. Oh, great stun.
Oh, they land the stomp. Not gonna land the arrow, but they're just gonna roll around in circles. He throw out a little bit of a taunt.
And he doesn't get ruined too. That's big.
He does not. Look at KJ. He's just punching him non-stop here. Drops the earth. Oh, he was trying to get real cheeky here, but the haste rune coming out from Theolacourt. Like they're not going to go for too much of a dive because they found themselves a new victim. They found Kara over here on the side. Not going to be able to quite land the stomp this time, but they cause a lot of rotations. There's so much attention here in this mid lane, which is allowing plenty of space here for Stabile. And in the bottom lane, Rises has to feel a little scared as he deals with this Doom, who has Doom online.
But he hasn't skilled it yet, actually. He just doesn't think that he can get the kill, so he just kept skilling Scorched Earth instead. In fact, when that first fight came mid, like 2 fights ago, Doom teleported from right in front of the Spectre back to his tier 1. I think he was scared of Storm TPing there to gank, so he went back to be safe. But yeah, he's just playing farm mode here, just trying to get as much net worth as possible. As Midas is coming out really quick here at 9 minutes, so.
Oh man, Theolacourt's about to get several couriers. One. To go for the other one. Look how fast Kara just turns his courier around like, no, 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 no. Leaps forward. He wants this. Misses the arrow. He takes a lot of damage from the tower. Good God.
Arrow is for vision, and he secures it. Gets 2 couriers there. Nice. 90 gold for everybody on his team. 3k gold advantage now for SG Esports. The kills are even, but EgoBoys are struggling, I guess. Spend so much time trying to defend the mid lane, and it still didn't work. So that means they don't get to pressure the enemy team as much. And in the meantime, Luna's just been AFK farming. Her net worth is looking pretty good. Doom's doing the best, though. Been 1v1 against the Spectre. Somebody has like 30 less damage in him, so he's having a great time.
I mean, no one has bothered him at all down this bottom lane. Everybody's just paying attention to the mid. Stabile is going to join in. off a little damage over onto Kill. Nice stomp over onto 2. The arrow coming in through doesn't quite connect as the haunt comes out. KJ has to be a little bit careful. Alone dipping in, has his eyes on Costabile. Are they going to be able to burst him down? They're able to take down KJ finally, get their revenge. Costabile next to fall. So going for a bit of a deep dive here. The Terrorize will come out. The Theodore trying to sidestep it. But now Ego, they should be able to put the pressure on this mid tower as they've been waiting so patiently to try to get. Theodore still flinking away over here on the side, has to be careful, but Tavo joining in now. He's got a double damage. He's got a Doom online if they want to try to make anything happen. But it looks like right now they're just going to force them away from the tower.
Tavo just feels like he doesn't want to fight. He like shows his face, he's like, hey guys, I'm here. But then he's like, all right, see you later. Gonna go farm some more. So he knows how much net worth he's getting. And if he gets his blink really faster and he's on a great path for it, that's where stuff gets really scary. Because then he can just start doing blink dooms on Spectre or blink dooms on Storm Spirit. Either would be
But you can
excellent.
see like how fast they scattered away from him when he did show up though. They were like, I don't know if I really want to deal with this right now. Especially because Spectre was sitting a little bit low. So if they manage to land the Doom, granted you do have Kara who's going to be able to, you know, throw out some mist coils occasionally, but yeah, they go for the smoke play too. 40R leading the charge here. No blink online just yet. Still continuing to wrap, hoping that they'll find someone in the jungle. They know that Spectre is down below, perhaps, so could be trying to make a play, but they're a little lost, it feels.
Yeah, they're just looking for that solo kill. But Ryze has been sitting in these trees for a very long time, actually. I looked about 30 seconds ago, and he was sitting here cutting trees. So he knows that they're going to be hunting for him, so it's better just for him to not to farm, because that wastes their time too, realistically. Instead, they will push now. He's going to realize that the gank is coming bottom. And in the meantime, EgoBoys is going to try to take the mid tower against the Doom, who's survivable enough to be fine here. Their chances to kill him are kind of low. And they do spot the Spectre.
They're just not interested right now. Blink Dagger does get completed now for the DK, so that's a pretty big deal here. As Tavo will just back off. They're going to allow this tower to fall.
I mean, I guess the game circumstance is kind of okay, I guess. I mean, once they get Blink on DK, and they actually do. They Blink on DK, he TPs the mid lane, see if he can catch somebody. Waiting for them to go and Doom. That's what he's hoping for, but...
They ping it out. The Theodore does have an Invis rune here, but they have a sentry placed on the sides. Does have to be careful in the way that he decides to approach this. He's going to try to wrap around. Does spot out the Storm Spirit and many others. Dragon Form's already popped to jump forward immediately over onto the Timber Saw. Moonlight Shadow comes out. It's another nice stomp, but the Bedlam damage. So thrown out there with the Earth Splitter. Doom gets used over onto Drakeel, and they should be able to go and clean up this kill. Lucar's trying everything that he can to try to keep him alive, but it's not going to be enough. They take out the Timber. Looks like Kara is going to be next here on the list here for SG. Does have that aphotic shield, but the Dragon Tail comes out, and they definitely have the damage.
All right, works out. A little force there by SG, but hey, they get the Doom on the right target. They were able to kill Dark Willow on the backline. Fight was pretty difficult for Consubile to engage because he had to run through a Bramble Maze. That didn't work out. Then he runs towards the Dark Willow, pops his Eclipse. He only got 2 beams out of it to hit a hero. So it was a little bit sloppy, but they were able to kill her before Terrorize comes out, and then they clean up the rest of the fight. So they got everything they wanted, basically, even if it was a little bit tough. Net worth advantage is still great for them, and now they've got Blink Dagger on 2 of their cores. Gives them 2 ways to initiate, and then on the Storm Spirit side, yeah, he's got some net worth, but it's not that incredible. He doesn't have an action item. He went for Kaya, he's going for San, just like a mini Bloodstone type thing. So it's going to generically make him good at fighting, but I mean, how else are they going to set up fights? It's basically like Storm jumping. That's about it. Their offensive potential here is weak, kind of similar to game 0.5.
Still trying to make that work.
Everybody knows what I was talking about. It's really clear.
Do they though, Purge?
Yes.
I bet there's going to be a couple people that are sitting in their chat being like,
Idiots
what is he talking
will be confused,
about?
yes.
But pressure being placed on the tier 1 bottom. Trying to get some more breathing room, some more space over here on the side of EgoBoys. Do have that Echo Saber completed now here for Rises. But a lot of mirroring going on for sure as the fortifications come out. 4DR trying to put some pressure over on the top tier 1 over on the side of the Radiant. But this tower down here should fall a lot faster on the side of Ego.
Yeah, Ego is comfortable fighting if they like get an initiation or have good team fights up. And that's what they're aiming for.
Rises? Immediately stunned up. They'll take the tower. The zip in here from Storm. The follow from the Haunt. The stop though here from Tavo with an arrow. Is it not gonna be enough? No. Splitter gets dropped down over onto the side. Kastabila, he's taking too much damage. He needs help. He needs somebody to keep him alive here. As he goes, he throws out another Lucid Beam, and he's trying to just kite.
Oh.
It's gonna be just enough. He's gonna survive it, even with that Urn Charge and the raindrop coming in hot. Alone over on the back lines. They do finally manage to go and grab this Luna, but they'll find Alone and make him pay for it. Tavo now, he was looking to go and does have the Cursed Crown on him. Lands over on 2 of his teammates here. Should have Delta split maybe a little bit faster, but Theodore on the hunt. Sees Kara on the side. Do they try to go for anything or do they back off? Looks like they'll back off for the time being.
Doom had some mighty good war stomps that fight. That was pretty cool to see, but man, I can't believe they kept Luna alive. I thought she was so dead a couple times there. But great counter initiation. They bought her time, then they re-engaged on her in an effective way, but took a lot of extra to kill her. Storm had to die for that one, which made things tougher. Doom's eclipsing the net worth of the Radiant team right now. He's got almost double. Well, that's not exactly true. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but he's really fat, guys.
He's a big boy. Theodore with a nice arrow here will interrupt Drakeel. I mean, soon this Doom's gonna have a BKB. He's got a blink. It is gonna be so difficult for EgoBoys to deal with him.
Yeah, it is. He's going to jump in, and whoever he chooses to go on is going to have a bad time, and they can't stop it. Timber's not going to do any damage. Dark Willow can't stop it. The only thing they can do is like shield and heal the guy that gets gone on from the Abaddon. But
that is essentially it.
Kniffy.
Try to throw out a Terrorize, move them away.
Yeah, I mean, they did fine in their Timbersaw lane, but they didn't really... I mean, Luna's got a lot of deaths, 0, 4, and 6, but his net worth is still better than his opponents, and that's basically because while they shut down the Luna bit, Doom was very effective against Spectre, and then they played there was a lot of time in the map where Spectre didn't feel comfortable entering his jungle, and he didn't feel comfortable standing in the lane either, so the Spectre just hasn't quite hit as many creeps as we would normally expect here. And the last couple fights haven't gone incredibly well either, so.
On the flip side of things, Ego, they are addressing the fact that, alright, if everybody's down bottom, we're gonna mirror, we're gonna go top, and we're gonna try to push this tower, so. Looking pretty good for them right now. Doesn't look like anyone's immediately coming in, although I say that as Tavo shows up. Drakeel, though, gonna cut through the trees. Tavo throwing out the Infernal Blade. The Atos comes out. Do a decent amount of damage with the Chakra, but the blink forward here from it for DR. They're gonna try to blow up Drakeel. They managed to take down Kara just so quickly here. Cursed Crown over onto Theodore. Will proc with the sleep, following up with an Earth Splitter off to the side. Doesn't quite land, but Tano is gonna get taken down with a Lucent Beam. Drakeel here, he's gonna be able to teleport out. As the other 2 cores on the side of EgoBoys try to go back to farming and focus up.
Yeah, they forced that tower a little bit hard. The Abaddon lost his ulti even before the engagement started, so from there it was just chased on the enemy team. While Timbersaw lives, you know, still not worth advantage. EgoBoys need to get pickoffs if possible. That's the best way to catch back up. Outfarming them is not really going to happen at this position, but it's very difficult for them to find these openings, so. Split off across the map. Spectre will be able to get a little bit of farm advantage, but I just don't really see them catching up to the Doom here unless they get some pickoffs. And with his VKB finishing, good luck.
This is going to be the saddest Storm and Timber, honestly, because they almost have BKBs completed. You almost have it on your Dragon Knight. I think it's coming out now for Doom. And just what do they do in those fights? Like, you can't do anything about these big tanky boys if that's the case here.
You got to chain stun them. Blink in, or sorry, ball in, Electric Vortex, followed up with Terrorize. That's like their only good chain stun right now. And if you do that before BKBs, okay, sure, you've got a team fight going, but that you can only do that to like one guy to start them off with, and unless the Terrorize hits more.
Look at this. Look at this here. 40R, the jump forward immediately with the Dragon Tail, with the arrow. It's a nice clean shot. Everyone is here. They just obliterate Drakeel.
They don't even need Spirit Vessel this game. Got plenty of damage.
No. Have to be careful here, my dude. They are Moonlit Shadowed, and they are on the hunt.
I mean, that's their tankiest guy on paper. He did buy Rod of Atos. It's a slightly different, it's a weird itemization for Timber, but they also need to disable and catch and potentially the ability to kill people. So I kind of see where he's going for it, going with it. But I almost also wonder though, like if you have this like defensive lineup of an Abaddon, you get really tanky on Timbersaw, that provides more counterplay potential. But yes, is the negatives with their lineup. They have a defensive support with Abaddon. They have a defensive carry with Spectre. They have defensive offlaner with Timbersaw. Okay, sure. Stacking defense is nice if your opponent's going you and you can counterplay them. But if you need to get kills on the map, if your opponent's farm better than you, then it's a repeat of game 0.5. So EgoBoys is kind of in the same situation as that match, where they're just getting out-farmed, and eventually SG should have big net worth advantage. That's what we're seeing. Luna's like super out-farming the Spectre. Her KDA is not good, 1, 4, and 6. But it doesn't matter because she just clears creep wave so much faster than Spectre, and EgoBoys have issues being aggressive with their heroes.
It feels almost like they do a lot with like a 4 of Protect 1 recently. Again, you know, we talked about Alone kind of, you know, usually being that playmaker necessary to create the space, and he's having some difficulty. Hold that thought, though. Over in the mid lane, the Earth Splitter does get dropped down. The Atos tossed over on Stavo. Looks like it was just a brief flirtation here, as they will walk away. But, you know, Alone, he's struggling quite a bit here. He doesn't have the items that he normally would like to pick up. And, you know, there's a lot of pressure being placed on Rises that he is going to have to be the physical damage, especially with this draft that they picked up.
Yeah, and Spectre can do that, but ideally it's segmented fights where he can like kill one person at the back easily and then follow up. Like your third item timing for Spectre is where you start becoming a little bit scary usually, but with this much net worth disadvantage, it's a little bit tough. Game plan's probably the same. Ideally jump on Luna and kill her, but it looks like her BKB's coming now, so it's gonna be harder.
Look how fast they want to punish this. Tavo gets the Doom off over on Drakeel. Uses the BKB as well. Doesn't want to be slowed down. Just going to be chasing after this guy. As 4DR also just chasing right behind him. Use the dragon form. Arrow doesn't quite connect. The zip in here from Alone, but it doesn't matter because they have those BKBs up and running. Although Tavos does just run out. It's a beautiful stomp. Buys just a bit more time. The zip forward again. They have their eyes on TheolaCore, but on the back line, they do manage to take down KJ. There it is. There's that eclipse we're talking about. Kara will fall. And they grab Rises, though. The question, it's not looking too good for them as they get double buyback now coming out from the side of EgoBoys. As Alone, he's out of mana here. He's not looking too great, although Drakeel joining in there to try to put the damage over onto Tavo. They end up getting Alone. They take down Tavo. Tavo, he is out of the equation as the buyback comes out here from Alone. He's mad. He wants to get back into this fight, but he's got to run over there as they turn back around. BKB coming out from Kostabile. They'll drag him in with the Vortex with a nice arrow as well. Kara has to be careful. There's the whip coming out. Kara eventually falling. Kostabile, the BKB is down. They have to be so very careful and protect him over here as it's just the two cat ladies who are surviving over from that engagement. A lot of buybacks that fight.
Yeah, really good for the Luna to pop his BKB when he did. That Storm ball lightning was from very, very far away. He read it correctly. If that damage hit and a pull comes afterwards, 100% Luna dies, and the fight is looking dangerous for SG. But with the buybacks on the Radiant team, that's going to offset a lot of their gains that they should have had from that good-looking fight towards the end of it. So a lot of net worth spent, some buybacks. Those guys are going to, next time they die, that's a Roche, basically. If it's at all one-sided. And in the meantime, they're still hitting creeps fast. Luna now by far the top net worth hero. It's basically because Doom bought back. He lost about 1,000 there, plus his death. So things are fine for SG still. They got to feel confident. Their supports have lots of items. Some mech on Mirana, working towards a Greaves. Elder Tine's got a very pricey 4-staff.
Oh, KJ immediately spotting out both Drakeel and Alone. They manages to land the stomp still over on Drakeel. Not sure if they... Oh, the arrow setup, though. It's plenty of damage to take down the Timber. And now Tavo, he wants more. He's got his eyes over here on Kara. Does have the borrowed time up, though, so it's just a little bit of bullying. Turn their attention back to the top area. Alone, plenty of mana here. Should be able to just run out, but not going to be so lucky for Tano as he does get chased down by TheolaCore and KJ.
I do believe you take Roshan now.
Yes.
I can't help but think that if Timber had at least a cloak, like his fate would be different in these fights. He's got Nether Shawl, but
he's more like that.
It's kind of what it feels like, but maybe it's just trying to fit the items to his draft's lackings, but maybe he should just fit his items to the best way to play the hero, and then that would be better, but it's hard to say. Either way, Roche should be dead in time before his opponents are all up. So Ego will just hit creeps. Spectre's net worth is compared. Oh, they're haunting for it.
They go for the haunt, but okay, they do end up kind of jumping back and forth a little bit, but not a hard committal.
It slows them down basically. If this can buy time for like Storm or somebody else to get there. Storm is sitting in position. He's gonna have to estimate when to go, and I don't think they have any vision.
That's gonna be so hard. And they even go for the Moonlight Shadow on top of that. He's zipping in now, though. Can he grab anything? No, it's too late. Aegis has already been picked up, and it looks like he's going to pay for this with his life. It was a nice try, but unfortunately for Alone, just not his moment.
So what was so cool about it is they basically like tried to read whether SG was playing scared. They scanned behind the Roche pit on the cliff spot where like SG would have retreated to if they were worried about initiation. Because the scan didn't show anything, Storm said, okay, they're still doing it. Then he balls in. He's just like 2 seconds too late. But Roche was at like 40% there, 30%. His estimation was going to be a little wide. It was hard to be exactly perfect on that without like clockwork rockets. So it was a good attempt, and he almost gets out again, but he gets caught with the stun and punished. So trying to relive the glory of game 0.5, the game that was remade and destroyed by Valve servers.
Game
Always
Alpha.
to be referred to as game 0.5
Game Alpha.
of this series.
Tower goes down over on the mid lane. Of course, as Leona, she's got herself an Aegis and Ego. They're trying to just put some pressure on the other side of the map because they know it's very difficult to fight into this when they don't have the Storm. In fact, the blink forward here from 4DR immediately just blow up Tano. There's no buyback over on this Dark Willow. So this tower absolutely belonging to the side of SG and most likely the Rax as well, because there's still no haunt on the Spectre for another 60-something seconds. The zip forward here coming out from Alone, trying to just clear up some of this creep wave. Doesn't manage to quite finish it off though, so that is going to be a tower and Rax as now they turn their attention to the tier 2 top.
They're not stopping. They've got Scotty on Luna. They got the Aegis on Luna. There's no Scotty on Spectre still. He needs to win like one team fight to have enough net worth. And instead, oh, this ward or something.
Oh no.
Yeah, the ward spots him.
Yeah, look at this. Word ER with the Dragon Tail jumping
Illusion
immediately.
blocks.
Theolacor hops in as well. They get the Doom off over onto Rises. He is breaking some ankles here, but they...
Ankle's broken.
Yeah, he's gonna make it
He's
out
good.
over here.
That was well done. The Spectre illusions blocked the arrow follow up. He tried to leap forward to land it, but the
Oh
illusions
no,
hit.
they find him! They find him!
Did the ward spot him? I didn't see how they had the vision and
I
know
don't
where to blink,
know.
but that was
I
he must
actually
have walked
not
through the ward
100% sure.
briefly. Because the ward catches the tree to the left at that spot just a little bit. They must have seen him.
God, I wish
Ankles
you guys could have
unbroken.
seen our cameras, both Purge and I, like covering our mouths, like, oh my god!
So he broke their ankles, but then Spectre came back and was like, let me slowly heal you. And he took care of them for like 6 months while their ankles were healed. And then they broke his ankles back to show him what's up.
I do enjoy story time with Purge.
Thank you.
Excellent. You should do a whole Dota series where you just read lore stories as bedtime stories.
It's a tough sell.
I don't know. I think you'd find a lot of people be into that.
Okay.
It's just something nice and soothing to put on the background, right?
Yes. What is this neutral item that's flying in the air for Doom?
I don't know.
I can cheat. I think. Nope.
Does it show up in
doesn't
the,
exist
the
yet.
neutral thing yet? Oh,
It does not.
All right. What do we think it is?
I believe that this is an Paladin sword, which will routinely close out the game instantly. It's going to go on Luna. She's going to be further unkillable. Good luck. What do you think?
All right. Oh, I don't know, man. I really have no idea.
There are
Paladin
exactly
sword
10
shows up.
options. You
The
have a
Paladin
10%
sword
chance.
always shows up, like whenever you have the tier 3 options, right?
That sounds like something that somebody would say if they believe in lore or something.
I do
that
believe
isn't real.
in lore. You know I like lore. I talk about it.
It's all random, is what I'm trying to say. You got a
But
10% chance.
it does
of being
feel
right.
like
Did you
it
give me
does
a
feel
name
like
yet?
certain ones show up like more than others, though, right?
Yes, that is the human tendency to fit patterns to things that are not patterns.
I think it's gonna be an enchanted quiver. Fine.
Thank you. Good guess.
You're welcome.
Equally as likely as my guess.
You.
All right, let's see what it is.
Who is the better analyst here? Is it Moxxi or is it Purge? I'm coming for your job, Purge.
Okay, here it comes.
All right, here goes.
Sec? Dang it. How are they just going to sec us like that?
No, I miss the little mini games. I miss racing you to like click meepos and do the hero.
Oh, that's right.
ones.
That was
Those were
fun as
fun.
observers. You could do that
Yeah.
as observers, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. That was a good time.
That was fun.
So let's see what they can do with this incredible neutral item, which will surely change the whole game. 20k gold advantage. Ugh. That's
Yeah.
scary. Luna's
Yeah.
like an item and a half, a full item and a half away or ahead of Spectre. Gonna make the carrying a little bit tough here.
Luna's also the kind of hero that once she gets into your base, all your buildings just get destroyed. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. Moment of truth.
It was already grabbed. We both
It was.
It was the Elven Tunic.
Ah.
He must have clicked on it midair or something.
Gosh dang it. Well, the hunt is on over on the side, though, as they throw out the Atos, but they're chasing after Kara. They'll pop the Bower time. Kitana, he's trying to wind up, will throw out the Terrorize as the zip in over on the side, over into KJ. He's caused a lot of problems for them, but Kara already falling, and they don't manage to take out this Elder Titan. Not yet. So the BKB getting popped from Drakeel. He's just going to run away. Theolacor, of course, finding himself yet another courier to add to the list. And they take the tier 2.
I didn't expect that to be a full-blown team fight with Dark Willow pressuring the Luna there, but they all they showed up together.
Yeah.
There's the TP back, but the pressure begins.
The jump forward on Tano again. Doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of spells left over in his kit, and they almost burst him down here. They need one more hit. Tano does go down, drag back over onto Kostabile. He's gonna be fine. BKB pop from 4DR. Buyback coming out now from Tano. Kostabile's taking a lot of damage. Does have the Aegis though. So they'll back off for the moment. He's coming back up, does have the BKB, does have the Eclipse if they decide to go chasing after him. Rise is just throwing out a casual dagger. We have the shard over here. Okay, the jump forward here coming out again from Alone. You can see that BKB popping. They'll follow up with this Earth Splitter. Rise is just a little bit off to the side though, but they just rip apart the Spectre. No buyback over on Rises as they'll go to town over here on Kara, just clicking away on this poor Abaddon. He will fall. There's brambles everywhere, but it doesn't seem to matter. Another arrow coming in hot. That is a dieback for the Dark Willow as Alone is frantically trying to do whatever he can, trying to just clear up these waves or whatnot, but the damage is immense coming out from SG as they take down these buildings. Chakrams tossed out left and right. Another zip. He's gonna jump in over on multiples, but they manage to go. They stun him and they just take out Alone.
No more fun allowed.
No, Drakeel also having to be very careful here. He is drawing attention though as they're being chased, and they do manage to get the kill. The GG gets called. It is gonna be SG with the victory here in the series.
Well-deserved. Draft looked pretty dynamic. They grabbed the right hero to lane against the Timbersaw, which helped offset that laning advantage, and then they pushed it into just like massive mid-game net worth advantage. Also, having DK mid got fast blink, and all of a sudden that unlocked all of their other heroes being really effective. Mirana becomes more powerful. Elder Titan can help and follow up on that. So it's like Doom farms stupid fast, Luna farms stupid fast, and the other 3 heroes are constantly looking for an easy kill on either Spectre or Storm Spirit. So EgoBoys just played pretty scared because they were worried about it. Maybe it's a wording issue, maybe it's just a game reading issue, but SG just like firmly controlled that game. And what a convincing 2-0. There's no doubt in my mind that SG was going to win it the whole time.
Yes, there was no doubt at all coming out from Purge. None at all. But no, as we said, the other night when we were watching the SG game, it felt like, they had a pretty good grasp on what they wanted to do. And these 2 games really kind of seal it. You can see that they knew what they wanted. They made use of, more comfortable heroes as well. KJ over on his Elder Titan, Theolacor playing the Mirana is been doing quite a bit of it, and it's a meta draft as well, which is one thing that I know our host was saying. With EgoBoys, they like to play what they like to play. So we are gonna go to a break, but when we come back, we will break down the series.